Jeffrey has trouble saying no to people. He should have broken up with his girlfriend months ago, but he doesn't feel comfortable rejecting, and so he's wasted time in an unsatisfying relationship. Adonis rejects people like it's nothing. As soon as a friend or a girl does something he doesn't like, he shrugs his shoulders and he moves on. Why? Because he has a purpose, and he has hobbies like lifting weights that he'd rather spend his time on.
That's my sexy pose.
Rejecting is a skill that you're probably not leveling up, but you should. Now, a few guys have asked me to make a video on how to say no to people. Rejecting takes that one step further, because rejecting is saying no to people that you originally said yes to. So I'm going to bring you into my life. This is my blue journal, that's what I call it. This is one of the first journals that I ever completed in 2019. And in the entire journal, literally from front to back, I was debating ending things with my girlfriend at the time. The entire journal. I didn't want to be in a relationship, and I weighed it up for over 100, maybe 200 pages. It took me months. I review this journal every now and then, and it literally makes me feel sick when I have to read it again, because of so much time wasted, so much time just weighing up the decision and just not being able to reject her. And why couldn't I reject her? Because I was scared of the breakup feeling. I didn't want that like heartbreaky, crying your eyes out feeling. And so I just kept on delaying it. Just kept on delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. So I lived that suboptimal life for a long time. Now, this was just the journal that probably took a couple of months to write out, but I was with this girl for like 2 years or so, and for most of that time I actually didn't want to be with her. Not really disrespect towards her, but it was like our clash. She was a fantastic girl to be going to parties and nightclubs with, but she was not a girl who should be like my girlfriend. Like, we didn't vibe for that whatsoever. You guys know the type of guy I am. I'm a very, very like different type of guy, and yeah. I was weighing up the decision of leaving her. We were living together as well, so we were literally living together. So I was weighing up the decision of leaving her and moving back home. Now, when I eventually made that decision and I took action in May 2020, so about 11 months ago, that was the best decision I've ever made in my life, because it's been 11 months and you have seen the progress that I've made. I'm grateful for this time. When I look back into it now and I can remember the heartbreak, and I can remember the constant hours of overthinking and journaling, just wanting to leave. I'm grateful for it all, because it's highlighted how important the skill of rejecting is. And that's something that we as men have always been bad at, because we naturally act out of scarcity. Scarcity is kind of like having less options. And as a man, you're always going to have less options than a woman. And so it's almost always going to be pretty hard to reject, especially a woman, as a guy, because we have less options. We naturally just attract less women. Now, I'm not going to go into it, but you know how it is for like a woman. Let's say an average woman can hop onto Tinder and she'll get 100 matches on the first day. An average guy will maybe get 2. Like a real hot guy. I've been working out for 6 years and I have like god level matches on Tinder that I've never seen really any other guy get. I get about 30. And an average girl who hasn't put in any work into herself will get over 100. Like, she'll get essentially like an unlimited level where she won't even be able to, speak to that many guys. They naturally have a lot more options than us, and that means that women naturally act out of abundance and we naturally act out of scarcity. And that's why rejecting as a man is very, very difficult. And that is also the same thing when we're rejecting friends who, aren't really good quality friends. It's time to cut them off. Well, if you haven't had many friends in your life and you've been somewhat lonely before, you're also going to find it harder to cut friends off, because you've experienced that level of scarcity. And some people will only respect you after they lose you. When they have you, they take it for granted. And this is a very, very horrible way to live. Like, I'm talking about the other people here. By watching this video, you're already thinking about the people you rejected, but you might actually be thinking about the person you should reject. And the reason why I've now got into this habit of easily dropping people from my life, because the moment you start weighing it up, that person has already shown that they don't value you. And so we're not doing this for any kind of punishment. We're doing this because of the fact that we don't spend our time with people who don't value us. If you have this thought that potentially you should be rejecting someone, you should be taking them out of your life, they've already acted in a way that shows that you aren't much to them anyway, and so you are being the little bitch when you keep them inside of your life. You're acting out of scarcity just because I might not get another girlfriend in for a couple of months, or he's an okay friend. Sometimes we drink and we laugh together. And so the mindset to success with this is that you have to be stricter than you are lenient. Because if you're lenient with this, if you give people too many chances, think about what that says about you, and think about how you're going to start portraying and believing and seeing your own self. You're going to start believing that you are like a little bitch or a pushover. When people aren't treating you well, when people aren't respecting you or valuing you, you keep them in your life for, just in cases. Just because you don't want to go through the awkwardness of cutting someone out and having that last and final conversation, which is a little bit like hard and uncomfortable to do. And so you'll waste months, years maybe, of your life. This is a very important skill. You can see now that thinking about this skill and leveling it up could literally save you months or years of your life when you need it most. And so when you reject, there's 3 different responses that you can get. One is when the other person truly didn't even like you, and so essentially they'll shrug their shoulders, you'll never hear of them again, and at that point okay, I should have done it earlier. They truly didn't even care about me. They didn't even see it as like a real rejection because they just didn't value me. So fair enough. Number 1, they don't even mind. They're nonchalant about it. Fair enough. The second one is what I call the bitch response. Now, this isn't just left for women, because a lot of guys these days are bitches. In fact, every single person I've ever rejected, apart from one person, has gave me the bitch response, which is where they'll blast your phone, they'll cry loads, and they'll apologize, and they'll be really, really manipulative. And it's this vibe of, okay, I wasn't treating you well enough, I wasn't valuing you, but now that you said you're gonna go, please come back. That's how it is. So if you're watching this video, which I know there's a couple of guys watching this video, you know exactly who you are, and I've rejected you. You went through the bitch response, and that's what made me, disrespect you even more, because this is the response of, okay, I've not been acting right, but now that you finally got the balls to reject me, I'm gonna really, really apologize, and I'm gonna blow up your phone, and I'm gonna message you, I'm gonna say I'm depressed, I'm gonna cry. Women do this as a manipulative tactic after the breakup ends, but honestly, guys do this too. A lot of guys I've heard do this full-on bitch response, which is like, they'll threaten to kill themselves, they'll say that they're depressed, they'll cry to the girl. This is very, very manipulative. And the thing is, most people will act like this. And finally, there is the integrity response. No one has done this one yet. The integrity response is where you reject someone, they're hurt by it, but they they go back to themselves and they want you back, and so they do what it takes to get you back. They fix things, they change their attitude, they do some introspectiveness with some humility instead of ego, and they think, okay, I care about this person, but they're thinking about you, right? They're thinking, wait, I care about him, but he rejected me, so he must think that I don't actually care about him. Why? What have I done wrong? What could I improve on? The integrity response, it takes a very special person to do this. There's almost no one that would actually do it. But if you do find someone who ever does this, they're the ones you welcome back into your life. Now, in the integrity response, they will go away for some time. They'll work on themselves and they'll come back after weeks, months, or years as almost like a new person, and you'll reconnect just how you originally did. I'm hoping that the dumbasses watching this who I've rejected follow the integrity response, because so far every single person has done the bitch response of the manipulative, I wasn't valuing you, Hamza, but now that you've broken up with me, I'm crying, I'm so upset with my life, I need you. Well, you didn't need me a week ago, motherfucker, so good luck by yourself. Now give me the integrity response. If you value me as much as you fucking say, if the bitch response wasn't manipulative, if you truly are so upset without your coach and your mentor and your boyfriend, then give me the integrity response. But the thing is, almost no one will go through this process of the integrity response because they didn't value you enough anyway. It's very, very easy after they've been rejected to send a few messages, to cry like a little bitch, and hopefully they'll come back. It's very difficult for them to actually go and improve themselves for a couple of months and then come back to you as a new person. Because if you rejected them, they didn't value you enough to do that anyway. They just tried to quickly manipulate you with all the sad shit. And this is why you can now see you've got to get good at rejecting, because a lot of people, without even realizing, a lot of people are very manipulative. Now, I've made the video on how to manipulate people, but that's honestly, it's clickbait. You can literally watch the video. It's literally just me saying like, okay, here's positive reinforcement from, it's like psychology 101. It's like, this is how you can raise a child properly. It's not really manipulation. Now, real manipulation is acting out of like ego and scarcity, where, so when they've lost something, they've lost you, they'll try cheap tactics to get you back. And this is why you must get good at rejecting, because a lot of people aren't going to value you, but you'll keep them in your life if you're acting out of scarcity. And when you do start to reject these people, they will then start hyping up and being like, oh, but I really like you. And this can be said so much for business, especially. Now, if you're a freelancer, if you're doing something like I'm doing, which is, like, coaching, the video editor who's editing this video right now, Sam, he told me a friend of his would heavily benefit from rejecting. A friend of his is also like a video editor, but Sam's friend keeps working with them because of his inability to reject, because he's got this mindset of his clients, oh, they don't have so much money, they can't pay me what I'm worth. That's because they don't value you that much. And if you brought it up to them, they'd say, oh no, can't afford it. If you said, okay, sorry, like, my prices have increased and so we can't really work together, then the waterworks would come. Then they'd be like, oh, wait, you're just gonna leave me? But I need you. I really, really need you. Well, if you needed me, you'd value me. If you're getting into business, if you get into entrepreneurship, you must be able to reject. And something that I didn't take this advice for so long. The 4-Hour Workweek is one of my favorite books by Tim Ferriss. And he says this so much. He says that he brings in the 80-20 rule, and he says that 20% of your clients will give you 80% of like the negatives, the headaches, and they'll take 80% of your time. And it's so true. And he said, you know what you should just do? You should fire all those. You should fire the 80% of clients that give you just 20% of what you want of the revenue. And I didn't want to follow it for so long because, I felt like I was properly helping people. And the motherfuckers watching this right now, a couple of the guys are watching this right now, they know, like, I'm happily talking about them. Like, yes, I'm talking about you. And you've disappointed me. Like, this is now like a private one-on-one with the guys that I've rejected. You disappointed me. After the rejection, you're acting like, oh, but I just want my coach's help. I just want my mentor. Shut up, bro, pussy. You didn't act like that just a few days ago. Don't throw this manipulative shit at me after you've been rejected. Show me the integrity response. Are you gonna go and fix yourself for a couple of weeks or months of hard work first to show that you actually value this? Probably not, because if you did value this, you would have valued it in the first place. It's my fault. This is my fault because I didn't take the advice of people who are smarter than me. I should have rejected you earlier before we got such a connection together. Because now we got we spent more time together, we've talked quite a lot, we've messaged quite a lot, I've gave you more advice, it seems like you need me, and now you're relying on me, and now your support system's cut off, and you're like, oh, life without Hamza is actually kind of hard, and so I should have been valuing his advice more. Your actions have consequences. I'm kind of speaking to, not right now, but like, I can also say pretty much the exact same thing with girls that I've dated. Like, girls are very, very manipulative with this. It's actually weird how it feels like the whole world kind of hates on men to being, manipulative and aggressive. But even in, heterosexual relationships, I've personally found it's always the woman who's the manipulative, abusive, and aggressive one. But whatever, I'm going on a tangent. With girls I've dated, with girls that you've dated, surely you've experienced this, where it's the same thing, where eventually if you're at least a guy who's got some balls and eventually you do reject them, you break up with them, that's when they treat you right. But if their sort of attraction and their value for you spikes up after that breakup, know that it's manipulative. Know that she's thinking, okay, he has said this. Now, if he's a man of his word, no matter how much I cry, no matter how much I do anything, he won't take me back. And the moment that you take her back because you actually listen to what she says instead of her actions, you literally disobey like the number one law of like human relationships, which is to look at their actions, not their words. And so the moment that you're hearing her words and she's crying and she's so sorry that she's slept with your friend or some shit, that's not happened to me, but I'm feeling like it's probably happened to one of you guys. If you go back to her because of how upset she seems straight away, she's in her mind, she's thinking, oh yeah, so I wasn't valuing this guy, I was disrespecting him, and he's immediately took me back. Okay, so he's a little bitch. So you get to enjoy a nice little honeymoon period of a couple of days or a couple of weeks where everything seems right, and you've had makeup sex and everything's so cute again. And through all this, she values you even less, and now she's single right now, by the way. Even if you're officially in a relationship, she's already single. Like, she ended the relationship a few months before she actually told you. because she doesn't value you. This seems like such a depressive like mindset. I feel like anyone who hasn't watched a bunch of my videos would think of me as like one of those depressive guys who thinks women are all cheaters. But if you watch a couple of the videos, I think I've portrayed my personality where I am quite a positive guy, and I think the best of people first. But this seems more realistic. It seems like a lot of people won't value you. That's just how they're built, and women especially do the well. Honestly, I can't even say women because bitches can be women, they can be men, and a lot of men are bitches. Bitches will give you the bitch response after you reject them. So now back to the viewer, for your value. When you reject someone in the future, look out for the bitch response. Look out for that manipulative tactic that as soon as you brought up the rejection, as soon as you said, you know what, it's not working, that's when their eyes will literally like light up, and they'll start crying, they'll start whimpering, they'll start saying, no, wait, I'm so sorry, you should have said it earlier. Whatever manipulative shit they throw at you, just know for a fact that if they truly valued you, they wouldn't be in that position anyway. You could genuinely save months or years of your life by leveling up this skill. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it.